Hey, good morning. This is Wednesday, May 29th. I'm Andy Neal with your Morning Check. Air Canada reports most of its systems are back to normal after a system-wide outage affected flights across the country. This was a scene at YVR last night with huge lineups from delays and cancellations. The airline says it's still a good idea to check your flight status before heading to the airport, and it plans to operate its full schedule today, add 5 additional flights and put bigger planes on several routes to accommodate passengers. The Bank of Canada is holding its key interest rate steady as its senior officials insist there are more signs the economy's abrupt winter deceleration was short-lived. The central bank, as widely expected, kept its trend-setting rate at 1.75% today, and Governor Stephen Poloz appears to be in no hurry to make a move.
This year, that window went to 1 day and forced all the climbers from the north side to try at the same time.
Victoria's Chris Dare has climbed mountains on 7 continents, and last Thursday he made it to the top of Mount Everest, but says he wouldn't have been able to come back without his Sherpa. The Canadian Armed Forces officer says the trek that usually takes 6 to 9 hours took 11.5 hours because of crowds and bad weather. He's joining others in saying the mountain that has claimed 11 lives this season is overcrowded and many climbers are inexperienced. A report by Acting Clerk Kate Ryan Lloyd is proposing an updated dress code that would allow women to wear sleeveless tops revealing their arms at the BC Legislature. Speaker Daryl Plecas ordered a review of the dress policy in March after several female reporters and an NDP staffer wore short sleeves to work to protest being told to cover their arms. Ryan Lloyd makes 14 recommendations covering what's appropriate attire at the Ledge. Well, today, the Cowichan Valley Regional District is set to take down Gallon Community Park in Shawnigan Lake, and it's not a popular decision. The district says an independent inspection found the park no longer is up to safety standards with rust and missing parts, and a community meeting will be held in June to discuss which park in the area should get a new playground. But a protest was planned last night by parents and children, and about 200 people have signed an online petition to keep the park.
They actually confirming that it was George. It hit me quite strongly.
Ian Atherton is the nephew of George Newburn, an Esquimalt teen who died in the Battle of Hill 70 in the First World War and whose remains were found in France in 2017 and identified earlier this year. Now, Atherton lives here in Victoria, and it was his DNA that helped authorities confirm the remains that were those of his uncle. Private Newburn will be given a proper burial and gravestone at a service June 12th in France. Jeopardy host Alex Trebek says he is in near remission as he continues chemotherapy treatments for stage 4 pancreatic cancer. The Canadian-born star says his doctors have told him they've never seen this kind of positive result and that some of the tumors have shrunk by more than 50%. Only about 3% of patients with stage 4 pancreatic cancer are alive 5 years after being diagnosed. Well, the Boston Bruins go for their 8th straight win and a 2-0 series lead in the Stanley Cup Championship as they host Game 2 tonight against the St. Louis Blues, and it's NBA Finals Media Day in Toronto ahead of Game 1 tomorrow between the Raptors and Golden State Warriors, and star Kevin Durant joined the Warriors on their flight east. He has missed the past 5 games since getting hurt in the Western Conference semifinals. There's speculation he could play in Game 2 after being ruled out for Game 1. And throwing out the ceremonial first pitch at a Major League Baseball game is a big honor, but you might want to take a few practice throws first. This happened last night in Chicago. The woman on the mound winds up hitting a photographer capturing the moment on the first base side of the mound. He later wrote on Twitter that both he and his camera are fine. As for the woman, the White Sox would only say she works for the team. Well, a good chance of drizzle in the morning and early afternoon for the West Coast today, and some cloud cover this morning on the island, but should clear as the day goes on, and expected to be windy here as well. And there are your highs on this Wednesday. Well, we always love to know where you're watching from. Don't forget to like and share the CHEK Facebook page. Stacey Ross will be with you with CHEK News at 5, and the latest with Ben O'Hara Byrne at 6 and 10. Has been your Morning Check. I'm Andy Neal.